We finally understand what happened to the dad from American Chopper. After American Chopper became popular on the Discovery Channel, it was relocated to TLC, which launched with an 18-hour marathon of the show. The animosity between Senior and Junior made filming difficult, resulting in the show's discontinuation in 2010. But the show's success spawned a spin-off soon after. Between August 2010 and December 2012, 4 seasons of American Chopper appeared on TLC and the Discovery Channel. The Toidles have appeared in several specials since then, and they continue to enjoy a large fan base. One other motorcycle store was originally supposed to appear. While it's tough to imagine a shop other than Orange County Choppers as the show's core topic, that wasn't always the case. Another bike store was intended to be featured on the TV show. The series producer, Craig Pelagian, told Forbes that OCC was not his first choice and that he changed the business the night before filming. He didn't think the shop was taking the correct approach. Toidles made an attempt to crowdfund a new TV show. Crowdsourcing is prevalent in show production, and the Toidles established a Patreon page in 2017 to gather funds for their new internet show, which would provide them greater artistic flexibility. The Toidles were open about their need for fans' help during their financial difficulties, and patron levels may receive behind-the-scenes information, such as interviews with them. However, their page was removed due to a violation of the rules of service, and the new program never aired. The 3 men have addictive personalities. Anyone who thinks riding a motorcycle is easy doesn't comprehend the truth. The 3 Toidle men have all fought with addiction, but they've all been open about their struggles. In one episode, Paul Toidle Sr. described his struggles with alcohol and substance abuse, saying, "I have a real addictive personality. It's aided me in business, but it's harmed me in my personal life." According to the family, years of counseling helped them restore their bond. Before the show aired, Paul Sr. sought treatment for his addiction. Speaking about addiction, Paul Sr. struggled with it before the start of the show, and he entered a 12-step program in 1985, which changed his life. Furthermore, he informed CNN that his family has a long history of drinking. "Both my uncle and mother were alcoholics, and the vast majority of them perished as a result of that. Fortunately, he realized that if he didn't change, all he had worked so hard to achieve would be jeopardized." Cody Connolly quit to work for Vinny's new company. Vinny DiMartino, also known as Vincent DiMartino, isn't the only one to drop out of OCC. When he unexpectedly left, he took Cody Connolly, a young adolescent, with him. Connolly previously worked with DiMartino at V-Force Customs and continues to do so at the company, which has now been renamed DiMartino Motorsports Automotive and Truck Repair. His focus is switched from customized motorcycle bodywork to ordinary repair services. Paul Sr. was accused of fraud. Toidle's legal issues have long been a cause of dispute, and they've lasted even after the performance is concluded. Paul Sr. was accused of damaging a television project and squandering millions of dollars on his business friend, Thomas Derbyshire. According to Derbyshire, in the New York Post, Paul Sr. used his wealth in an American Chopper Rebirth to pay for his personal needs. Toidle wanted to change their 51.9% ownership arrangement to a 50-50 agreement, which led the business transaction to collapse. His house was seized. And that's not the end of Paul Sr.'s financial difficulties, according to page 6. His property was foreclosed on in 2018. Given the OCC's financial woes over the years, this should come as no surprise. According to the news source, Toidles secured a $1.5 million mortgage on his house in 2005 and altered the contract in 2016 and 2013 to lower the monthly payments. As of early 2017, he owed more than $800,000 on the house alone. Paul Sr. declared bankruptcy. All of these financial difficulties led to Paul Sr. filing bankruptcy in 2018. According to page 6, he presented paperwork saying that he owed over $1 million to more than 50 creditors, but only had roughly $2 million in assets. Furthermore, he mentioned that he gets $15,000 each month, but only spends $12,000 of it. Toidle further alleged that he was the subject of a $32,000 judgment and that he owed $150,000 in taxes, over $20,000 to various credit card companies, and more than $2,000 in medical expenses. Paul Sr. was part of a fake story. Let's face it, which celebrity hasn't been the victim of a social media hoax? Paul Sr., on the other hand, was involved in one that centered around his death. Iron Demons published an article stating Paul Sr. perished in a motorcycle accident in Louisiana before deleting it from their website. However, this didn't stop the claims from circulating on social media, and some even conveyed condolences on the official OCC website. Paul Sr. is an animal lover. Although Paul Sr. is depicted severely, he has a soft spot for animals. He revealed that he had grown up around animals in an interview with People in 2009. At the time, he had 5 tiny horses, 2 dogs, 2 miniature donkeys, 2 baby doll sheep, 2 alpacas, 2 Highland cows, and 5 goats. He also allowed youngsters to interact with the animals at his petting zoo. The show was relaunched. When the series ended in 2010, it didn't appear that it would return to television. Everyone was surprised, however, when American Chopper was rebooted and re-aired on the Discovery Channel in 2018. Paul Jr. and Paul Sr. star in the latest show, which has 12 seasons and is currently running. The latest episode concluded in March 2019. Memes were unknown to Paul Sr. We spoke about how the classic battle between Paul Jr. and Paul Sr. became such a meme and how it was one of the family's most famous moments, but Paul Sr. had never heard of memes. In 2018, he told Vice that he's not familiar with phones or social media, but he found it amusing because it was stated to him twice and he couldn't make sense of it all. He also stated that he's unconcerned about the issue. The epic meme forever changed the series. Despite the fact that Paul Sr. had never heard of memes before becoming one, the American Chopper meme is still one of the greatest and most popular. Many people who use the meme are unaware that it came from the program, but the moment had a significant impact on the series and the Toidle family. While it's used for humor, the emotions between the father and son combination were powerful in the real tape, and they cursed at each other. TLC fined them for breach of contract. While Sr. and Jr.'s dramatic dispute had an effect on their father-son connection, there were also long-term ramifications. As a result of Jr.'s departure, TLC accused the Toidles of violating the contract, and the son and father signed a letter of understanding modifying the 2008 employment contract. The show's changes resulted in confusing business transaction lingo, which may have led to the network dropping the show. Paul Jr. sees his father's dismissal as a blessing. The heated argument eventually led to Paul Sr. seeking to fire Paul Jr. from the program, and court battles may have divided the son, but Paul Jr. saw his father's dismissal as a blessing. In an article for Fox News, Paul Jr. remarked that it was the finest thing that could have happened to him at the time, and it took him a long time to realize it. After leaving, Paul Jr. worked in high-profile positions. Following the dismissal from the program, Paul Jr. went on to work high-profile jobs on his own. One of his favorite assignments was working on a handful of motorcycles for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows. The American Chopper legend designed Bebop and Rocksteady's bikes in the film, and he even appeared. Shredder appears as an armed jail officer behind Casey Jones as he boards the vehicle. Recruitment of OCC employees. Due to his one-year non-compete agreement with OCC, after being fired from OCC, Paul Jr. was given a year to start his own firm. He subsequently established Paul Jr. Designs, a motorcycle customization and clothing business. It also spawned the spin-off series American Chopper, Sr. vs. Jr. When the time came to launch the company, he employed many OCC employees. Rachel, Nub, Robert, Joe, Vincent, Michael, and Cody have all worked at Paul Jr.'s shop. Paul Sr. was involved in the steroid scandal. Do you remember the big steroid scandal that engulfed Major League Baseball players in 2011? Well, it wasn't just baseball players that were participating. Paul Sr. was also smack in the middle of it. The doctor involved was James D'Amico, and one of his patients was American Chopper. According to the union, Toidle was administered hundreds of doses of steroids and human growth hormones over a 4-year period by 3 Florida doctors. True Blue was the company's first bike. Paul Sr.'s first custom chopper was True Blue, a social softail. The bike made an appearance at the Daytona Biketoberfest and played an important role in the TV show. Regrettably, he no longer owns the bike. Toidle told the Pocono Record that he was old school and used to build motorcycles in the 60s and 70s. He considers himself a softail fan, but he connects it all with a sturdy appearance on the swing arm. Paul Jr. turned religious. After seeing the show, one would never believe that Paul Jr. was a Christian and that he was raised Catholic, but his faith kept him going through the addiction and the difficult times dealing with his father. Paul had lived with Rachel for a short time before they married, and shame crept up on him a few years later, prompting him to marry her 9 months later.